block out 4.5 hours of your life just to be at the ball game.
They buckled too. Unfortunately, they played the Yankees. Instead of that ESPN game, you're looking at 5-hour ball games. They buckled. Josh Beckett, with the Dodgers too. He did something like he takes average of 34 seconds in between pitches, which is a lot when you think about 100 pitches being thrown.
See, the NBA has its 10-second rule for free throws. You have to get your free throw off within 10 seconds. I think baseball could stand to institute one for the batter and the pitcher. There was a proposal that it was actually used in spring training one year where the batter had to leave 1 foot in the batter's box, could not formally step out. Pitch from Luella, chopped out to shortstop. Stephen McLean has it on 2 hops. Go to first is in time, and that quickly Corey Chapin is out of there, 6-3.
Rest did no wrong to Llewellyn. 1 pitch, 1 out.
He's just got to have some dip that we're not seeing because he's not giving up 1-pitch fly balls. He's giving up 1- and 2-pitch ground balls consistent.
Third baseman, Brandon Gonzalez.
Pitch to Canizares, misses inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Royals need to find their way back around to Downs with a few men on. Here's a 3-hop ground at a shortstop. McLean is up with it. Low throw dug out by Nicholas. 2 up, 2 down. And the drama here, can Stephen McLean tie Michael Landis-Doyle?
2 records in 1 ballgame?
Are you kidding me? Well, one of my favorites, and I mentioned this to you before, was Bert Campaneris, who was with the Oakland A's at the time in the 60s. Not only played all 9 positions, but he pitched with both hands. That's awesome. Pitches outside, 2 balls and no strikes to Wes Hoover. Hoover's 1 for 3 on the night. Gets out of an open stance from the left side. 2-0 pitch, 3-0. Have we been here before?
No, we have not. I don't even know if we've been in the 3-ball count on this side of the.
Yeah, 3-1, 3-2, nothing. Right down Broadway.
So he took some off that just to kind of get it over there, get me open fastball.
Yeah, he just seems like he can throw a strike anytime he wants to.
I'm sure.
Not a bad problem to have. 3-1, popped up, foul territory. This may be playable. Rose is over, and it just gets out of play. Now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. 5 pitches to 1 hitter. What in the heck is going on here? Spitz and Moulds had about a 10-pitch battle earlier in the game. We know he's going to ground out the shortstop. It's just a matter of why are we taking this long, right? Popped up third base side, and that one will get out of play as well. A lot of this reminds me a lot of either a former Storks, Derek Tate from the University of San Francisco, and he's got a little bit of Brad Mills in him, but Mills threw harder, and Mills had a ready for prime time curveball as well. Laced down the right field line, and that's going to get up against the wall. Tchaikovsky will get on it, gets it in quickly.
First base umpire position between first and second base on the grass. When the ball's hit to the outfield, he immediately runs right in front of second base to watch the play at second base. He nearly collided there with Hoover. It was kind of a funny moment there. Umpire had to hold up. I think they're both having a laugh about it up there right now.
You mean the ball player should have the right of way there? Yeah, that would have been a little clunky. So runner at second base with 2 outs now for Lucas Lupa. First pitch misses outside. Nothing but tumbleweed down in the Turks bullpen. It's all about Llewellyn. 1-0 pitch. Strike on the outside edge. 1 ball, 1 strike.
With very similar numbers, 56 strikes through 74 pitches.
3-to-1 ratio, strikes to balls. Strike 2. Got 1 there and went right back there. 1 and 2. Lupa steps out, not thrilled with those couple on the edge. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Grounded out toward first. Nichols has got it. He'll underhand to Llewellyn, who just gets there in time. The fielding is positioned as well. Turks have got, it doesn't matter who's played first base this year, whether it's Christopher Barr or Nichols, very good range, very good decision making with the ball. And when you've seen them have to throw, first baseman that can really throw the ball. So that's very, very nice to have. Sometimes first base is a position where you're just going to hide one of your thumpers. All right, we'll turn it into a first baseman. Hopefully he'll hit it along the way to justify our decision. So 3-0 Harrisonburg. And I'd like to add to that, it's all about Kevin Morales. 8 hits allowed, no runs. He's only struck out 1. Walked no one. There's only one batter that went to 3 balls the whole game. You don't necessarily have to overpower people to dominate them. He has been dominant in keeping the ball down the range.
And we have a lot. You just work well with runners on base too. They have got 8 hits. The number of double plays, the kickoff too.
About 5 of the 8 hits have been ground balls that they found their way. Double to right center, double to right field, mixed in there. Think about a few weeks back when we were just ruefully shaking our head about the infield defense, and now, this is an infield you want ground balls hit to, and the one's giving them just what you want to see.
Scoring most of the time, and switch a quick one through here from the Turks, and well, no hit usual. So potentially see a game under 2 hours, not any game.
But since I've cured you of this jinx thing, we're not jinxing anything.
The Turks didn't take so long to score 2 runs last inning. We'll be much better shape. But I don't know if I think I have seen one game of 158. It was a major league game actually. It was a national. I can't remember exactly who was pitching.
Pitch to goal is low for a ball.
2-1 ball game, and I think it went like either an hour 58 or like 2:05, something crazy.
Missed on the inside. William Koza still pitching for the Royals.
Well, been on base twice tonight, once by fielder's choice and a single, and fly out to right field to go with that 1 for 3 night.
2-0 hit high and deep to left field. This ball is really tagged way back there and up against the wall. Two base hit. Bounced at the foot of the warning track and out of here. Gold got maybe a little top on that, or would have got down here altogether. So ground rule double for Brandon Gold. He's got some wonder in that stick. I'm just surprised we haven't seen it more often.
I think he's got off a good part of the bat too. It wasn't necessarily a full solid swing, just immediate.
Yeah, he got the sweet spot, even if he didn't totally line it up.
Like you said, I think some topspin on that ball. It's kind of hard for a ball to bounce out of here around the double. Decently high fences, 10, 12 feet maybe.
It's to Roach is inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Runner at second, nobody out for the Turks. Koza gives Gold a glance. Here comes the 1-0. Outside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Roach may have his orders to take a strike. But here on 2-0, if he's got the green light, he's certainly going to think about a big swing. Just missed on the inside. A little cut fastball or slider there. 3 balls and no strikes. Now you just got to let him struggle. Three-0 pitch to Roach in there for a strike. Roach actually had a 3-0 green light the other night.
Mm-hmm.
It's been hot. When you get from 210 to 275 in about 4 games, you were pretty hot. 3-1 is high for a ball, and Roach will head on down to first. Good at bat by Roach, and in the midst of him, jumping that average up back into respectability, he has really done a great job laying off pitches out of the zone. And for a free swinger that doesn't strike out much, That's a pretty nice thing to develop. A good eye plays everywhere. The runner's at first and second for Thomas Spitz. He squares. Hopped up right side. That'll be in foul territory. No balls and one strike.
The center fielder, Thomas Spitz.
Spitz is 2 for 3, and he has scored a run. Downs and Canizares are in close. Rosa does a little bluff move to get Gold to retreat to second. 0-1 pitch to Spitz. Bunted right out in front of the plate. Only play will be first. Nice play by the Royals catcher Chapin. And he fires over to the second baseman Mata covering. Successful sacrifice for Spitz. Spitz is always going to give you something, even when he's still visibly a little gimpy. He's got a couple of base hits. He's got a successful sacrifice. Another day at the office by a very good player. Here comes McLean now. Very nice RBI chance. Winchester infield is in now. Pitch to Steven. Slider missed outside.
Second time they've been in tonight. We're in last inning. The Turks did a second and third too.
McLean doesn't have to deal with the bunt sign this time. How about that? Little line drive base hit to left field. He said, I don't need to be hungry. How about a 2 RBI single to break the game in? How about that? What a bird to Stephen McLean. Do the folks crowd like that or not?
So the rally cry from the Turks crowd.
No doubt.
Making some noise. You and I talked about on a break. Nice crowd tonight. Good crowd tonight. Beautiful night. Especially good to see a crowd like this after a lousy crowd the other night. Doubleheader Covington. Of course, that was makeup though. So.
Yeah, the early starts and kind of a weather issue along with that one as well. Perfect storm of problems. So. 2 runs in here for the Turks on the single by McLean. Here comes Thomas Smith. Still just 1 out. Fastball, pops the glove for strike 1. A couple of guys standing, right-hander throwing in the Winchester pen. 0-1, in there for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. Smith is 1 for 3 on the night. Have a base knock to left earlier. McLean certainly got his 1 for 4 in the right spot. Knocking 2 there. Grounded down toward third. Juggled. Back to his feet. Throw to second is in time. What a scrappy play by Brandon Canizares. Smash of a 2-hop grounder. Knocked it down. Picked it up and got it over to Mata at second to get the lead runner. Hot corner.
Chikowski.
Here comes Chikowski. His pinch hit. Really broke it open. Knocked in run number 3. Fastball way outside. Luke is just a whisker over 300. He has spent most of the season over 300. Dipped under it briefly, but now he's back over 300. Quick throw over to first, and Smith is back. 5-0 Turks. Remember I said to Coach Weiss the other night, when are we going to get that typical Turks 5-1 easy one? He said, I don't know. Liner out toward left center, dropping down for a base knock. Chikowski did not get a big piece of it, kind of out toward the end of the bat. And he loops it in to left field.
Nice pinch hit last inning, 2 for 2. It's 2 at-bats with an RBI.
He was moving a little gingerly down there at first, too. Maybe
First baseman, Daniel
a
Nichols.
lower back, a leg issue or something. 2 outs now. Here comes Daniel Nichols. And much like Gold, I think Nichols is a guy who's got some thunder in that stick, too. down the stretch, we might see some long balls from both those guys. Hopped up a mile high. Jerry Downs into foul territory. And he makes the play. Bangs into the fence as he gets there. Well played for out number 3. But 2 big runs for the Turks. 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th. And that'll break it open. Headed to the 9th here. 5-0 Harrisonburg. Good time to look at our out-of-town scores.
No errors.
Front Royal.
2 runners left on. Harrisonburg
3-2 winners
5-0
at home against the Stanton Braves. Aldi, a similar lead, 3-2 over the Waynesboro Generals, top of the 7th. There at Chant High School in Aldi, Virginia. Top of the 9th at Casey Field in Covington, the Express hanging on to a 2-1. Well, if you want close ball games, Valley Lake's got you covered here tonight. Woodstock 4, Newmarket 3, top of the 5th at Central High School in Woodstock. And our 5-0 game, this is the blowout of the night.
Yeah.
There is such a thing.
You have ticket number 012 or 067.
Kevin Llewellyn back to the hill, working quickly, and he's just going to really try and get his shutout and give the bullpen the night off.
2 nights up in a row. 3, sort of. The doubleheader of the first game, hallowed the whole way, but Castellanos went 5 or 6 innings, so they've only pitched 1 or 2 innings in the past 3 nights.
One thing I was meaning to look up, we know that Castellano's brother was obviously the third baseman for the Detroit Tigers, but Scherzer, I still haven't bothered to look up Scherzer and see if he's related to a Detroit Tiger as well. That was Jerry Downs now, low for a ball. Max Scherzer of the Detroit Tigers and Luke Scherzer of the Harrisonburg Turks. In there for the strike. 1-1 strike to Jerry Downs. The only way to stop Llewellyn lining up and pitching is to get out of the box. 1-1 pitch, grounded out towards second. Big second hop for Tommy Smith. He throws to Nicholas for out number 1. So 1 up, 1 down.
Does it look like any relation between the two? His brother Sam, the younger sister Olivia. Not sure if there's cousins involved in that or anything, but not an immediate sibling.
The second baseman, Alex Matter.
Comes Alex Mata now. Grounded out toward third. Diving play by Williams. Gets to his feet. Does not get to his feet. Throw to first. Almost got him. Threw from his backside and nearly threw out Mata at first base. That would have been a dandy play. Rose is about 6'4", 6'5". Made a great dive to get the ball. Threw from the seat of his pants. I think the last one I saw like that was Ryan Zimmerman of the Nationals before he started having some major heart problems. Threw a guy out from the seat of his pants a couple years ago like that. So, heck of a try. Hit number 9 for Winchester. Comes Cody Bauer. Hit hard and foul, third base side. Lights out in the Turks' pen. Llewellyn deals. Missed outside. 1-1 strike. 2 big double plays earlier in the ballgame. One in the first, one in the second. It really got Kevin locked in, ready to go. It's like, all right, let me stay down in the zone and induce as many grounders as I can. Very sharp. 1-1 pitch is fouled off right side. 1 ball, 2 strikes. One-two pitch. Swung on and missed. Bauer definitely chased the ball there. A little high, a little outside. When you get ahead in the count, people react differently.
Right fielder, Michael Langston.
So 2 outs now for Landestoy. Base knock his last time up. Ball 1. 1 for 3 for Landestoy. outside for a ball 2.
The bullpen's chanting names like the Yankees grandstands do. You know, they chant the names of all the fielders until they get acknowledged, and I think that's exactly what the Turks bullpen's doing right now. Chant the name of all the fielders on the Turks until they get acknowledged.
2-0 fastball outside for the ball. 3-0. Well, it's bugging Llewellyn. We need to stop. 3-0, and you know, Landstory walks right here. You're gonna give Winchester a shot at getting back in this with a big fly. Pinch hitter sitting in the on-deck circle. Strike, 3 balls, 1 strike. 3-1 pitch. Just outside, Landstory walks. So here comes Carter. 0 for 3 so far for Zach. Fastball missed high. Roach has seen enough. He's going to hit on out there.
Stratford being just ended. They beat Covington 2-1. Express just allowed 4 hits and 0 errors to the Lumberjacks.
Covington has played a little bit of 1-run games the last few. 7-6 with the Turks, 8-7 last night, 2-1 tonight. 1-0 pitch outside for a ball. 93 pitches now for the Llewellyn, 68 of them strikes. Two-0 pitch. Outside for ball 3. So it's the control. He's still throwing the ball fairly well. I see him shaking his arm a little bit more than he did earlier in the game. For a lot of pitchers, that's just a normal kind of tick type thing they always do. Is to get loose, stay loose. Here's a strike on the outside corner of the fastball. 3 balls and 1 strike. 2 outs and 2-1 for Winchester. Top of 9. Turks on top, 5-0. Llewellyn deals. Hot foul. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And now the runners will get going. I've always liked his where, you know, not a bad time to sneak your first baseman behind the guy, especially without being a pitcher. Huge lead at second base. Payoff pitch is fouled off right side again. One of the games I remember as a kid, the Orioles had a reliever named Tippy Martinez, a left-handed reliever. And he gave up maybe a walk or 2 hits in the 9th inning. And he picked all 3 runners off. Right out towards shortstop, McLean has him on a couple hops. But the first is in time, and the touchdown, the win column.
Win streak finally coming out. They got a win streak too.
Devin Llewellyn. Little guy took the team on his back here tonight. And you look at Llewellyn.
Yeah, he looks so small.
Well, next to Zimba, we all look kind of small. Well, 5-0. Night off for the bullpen. Win for the Turks. 9 hitters. 9 hitter. I think 13's the most I've seen.
Yeah, still a lot of runs for the shutout too, but excuse me, a lot of hits. But he did a good job, like I said, working the runners on base and getting double plays and pickoffs too.
Well, you know, he only went to 3 balls, he did out 4 or 5 hitters, and 3 of those were in the final inning. So that's a heck of an effort right there. The Turks in the win column, 5-0. We are going to step out for our usual break. We'll return with the Lowe's post-game show. We also got some Turks news. I never got around to our big Turks news we're going to talk about. So stick with us, folks. We're going to take a break and we'll be back with the post-game show. Maybe we can get Kevin Llewellyn up here. Several good choices to come up. And we'll Lowe's post-game show. Back at you here in just a couple of minutes. Sure, Coach Reese joins me, and Coach, I asked you the other night, when are we going to get a 5-1 hang a comfortable loss on the opponent Turks baseball kind of win? I didn't have to wait long.
No, we sure didn't. Kevin did a great job tonight. Went all the way. He only threw like, I think 80 or 81 pitches the whole 9 innings. It's just unbelievable. After 7 innings, he had like 54 pitches, 53 to be exact.
Well, he certainly believes in strike one, and he's got the kind of accuracy that he only went 3 balls with 2 hitters up into the 8th inning.
I know. He just did a super job today. I can't say enough nice things about him. He's a quality pitcher. I'm just happy that he's here with the Richmond.
I can't say I've seen someone who wants to get the ball back and get it thrown back to the plate any faster than him.
Oh, he's done a great job for us all summer long. He's a nice kid. He throws strikes. He works fast. How long did it take us to play this game tonight?
2:12. I'm really in the final inning ate up a lot of that. We were at about a 140 something going into that final inning.
You just can't say enough nice things about him. He's been such an asset to the Harrisonburg Turks this year.
Well, a couple good things that really happened for the Turks was getting Thomas Spitz back. Not only did he have 2 hits, but he also got a sacrifice in a big spot. And you really did a nice matchup thing there, saying, okay, Christopher Barr, I don't like this matchup. Luke Chakowski, I really like the matchup bingo.
Yeah, Luke came off the bench, might have 2 hits.
Yep.
That's that's the sign of a quality ball player. You know, sit on the bench all night long and you yell for him, and he's ready to go. And I'm really happy for him. And he's another guy that I'm happy to have here.
Yeah, I think that he's crept back over 300 again, and it's a quiet 300, but 2 hits tonight. And when you get one in a big spot, because when you can turn 2-0 into 3-0, and then suddenly 3 into 5, you got a guy dealing on the hill. That makes that 5 seem like a mountain to climb.
Oh yeah, when you're up 3-0, you're always trying to get above 4. That way, if one swing of the bat won't beat you. If the bases loaded, someone happens to get into one, it's 5-4. But we just did a good job tonight. I mean, everybody was in the ball game. We couldn't get a hit there early when we had men on second and third, but Matt Rose hit the ball hard to third one time with men on second and third. If the ball was a foot either way, it's a base hit, and we get 2 more. But the guys, I tell you, the guys seem like they were really in the ball game. This is the same team that we had 12, 15 games ago. We had a little lapse there for 5 or 6 games. It was like just going through the motions. But I've noticed every year, I've been doing this forever. Every year, when the All-Star game is over, the next 4 or 5 games, we're a little lackadaisical. I don't know if it's because we got 3 or 4 days off or exactly what it is, but it's been happening like this for the last a long time.
Yeah, well, you've been at it a long time to recognize the trend. But, I just think that with the team, you're starting to get a lot of contributions from different people. Daniel Nichols batted third tonight, got you a couple of hits. He only got the 286 after a kind of a sluggish start and then an injury. But Kel Fleisch has got himself over 300. Thomas Smith over 300. There's been a lot of seasons where you've got 6 or 7 guys at 300 or better, and right now we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at 300 right now, and then Nichols is at 286.
Right. Well, what do you say about Thomas Smith? I mean, how many line drives he hit this year? I mean, he hit that ball down the third baseline tonight. I mean, that kid made one heck of a play.
Yes, he did.
What about the play that Matt Rose made after laying on the ground almost to the guy?
So the seat of his pants through that. That was something.
I'm really, when you watch Matt, you think, he's lackadaisical. But he's always in the ball game. He made a play here one night to save the ball game for us a couple nights ago when he laid out on the ball down.
Yeah, he and Gold have made some great plays down the high corner.
Yes, they have. Both of them are quality ball players. I tell you, the college teams are lucky to have those 2 guys.
Yeah, there's so many guys that we always have our game guys each year where we're going to look at them next spring and see how they do and all that kind of stuff. But this is a really nice set of prospects. A lot of these guys have multiple years remaining. I mean, you take a Luke Chakowski or you take a Christopher Barr, they have several years left. And Daniel Nichols. I think some of these guys are not only going to be some of the best players on their teams, they're going to be conference best players where they are in the ACC and the SEC.
Yeah, I tell you, we have, I think I counted right. I think we have 19 players out of 24, that's what we have, 24, that can come back next year if they so desire. Yeah, of course, I hope they do, but of course, some of them will be juniors and they'll be draft eligible. Yeah, and, you know, that's what you want. You want kids to become juniors and get drafted and go up to the big leagues. Today, before the call game, I had a nice visitor. What happened, Teresa comes running out on the field during that practice, and she's got Brad Mills. Remember Brad Mills?
Yes.
His brother came out on the field and introduced himself to me. He said he was right down 81 going towards Washington, D.C. He says, did you know that Brad just got traded back to the
Blue Jays?
Yeah. I mean, he just got traded from the Blue Jays, 2 months ago?
Well, actually, from Milwaukee, and then he's with the Blue Jays. So second tour duty.
I think he's supposed to pitch against the Yankees coming the weekend. His brother said he's going up. He said that Brad had been asking him if he could have a Turks shirt. So we packed 3 or 4 of them in a bag to make sure Brad gets them.
Outstanding.
That's the way baseball is. That's what gives you the good feeling.
Well, we like it when our major leaguers remember where they came from.
You know, they want a Turks t-shirt, so they remember. And Brad Mills, I wish him the best. I really do.
Well, Kevin Llewellyn tonight, did he remind us a little of Brad Mills?
Yeah, he does. He goes something like
A little bit of Brad.
So hopefully one of these days, Kevin Llewellyn will be riding down 81. He'll stop and say, you know, hey, I'd love to have a Turk shirt. And of course, I'm going to charge.
If he had Brad the curveball, he's going to Devin Cooper style, right?
Yeah, I tell you, the nice thing is, again, about the Valley League and the Turks and guys going on to big leagues. A few years ago, it's 1:30 at night, and my wife and I are laying in bed, we're watching TV, and all of a sudden there's a knock on the door. Now, who could be knocking on your door at 1:30 in the morning?
The police.
Saturday night. Well, no, it wasn't the police. I go to the door, and there stands Frank Menachino. Do you remember Frank Menachino, second baseman for the Oakland A's? And he says, Bob, he says, I was just riding down 81, and I'm on the way to spring training, and I was wondering if I could spend the night with you. And of course he could spend the night. I mean, Frankie has retired from baseball now. If you saw the movie Moneyball, I'm watching that. And Billy Bean says, hey, we're going to send 2 guys down. And one of them was Frank Menachino, and the other one was Jeff Tam. And both of them had played for the Harrisburg.
Yeah, I forgot about Jeff Tam.
Yeah, he was here, and he pitched for the Harrisburg Turks. But, you know, that's what makes this all worthwhile. And this is why I do it. You know, I love the kids. I love what I do, and it's all about them.
Well, a lot of times the prospects are guys that we might have here for one summer, and a couple years later they're bigger and stronger and more experienced, and then they get their shot. Because take a guy like Emilio Pagan. Right. Emilio was just a kid here. Yeah. He couldn't even break into the lineup. Yeah. 2 years later, he's 20 pounds heavier. He's throwing 95 miles an hour, and now he's playing for a paycheck.
Yeah, it's just like David Eckstein. Yeah. You just never know how far these kids are going.
Yeah, and the best athletes and the best talent sometimes is not enough. You've got to have a mindset and the heart.
The heart. You got to have the heart. You know, the other night I was watching that second baseman for the Cubs.
Yes.
He's 4 feet 7 inches tall.
Yeah.
He's got it's all heart.
Yeah, Jose Carrera. He was
a great little ball player. I mean, just great. I went up to him and I said, hey, you know, I'm really proud of you. And I said, because, you know, you got a lot of heart, you play hard, and that's what this team's about.
Yeah, he can run, he hits with better power, he's got a big arm, he makes great decisions with the ball in his hand. By like the second inning of the game, you're like, that kid plays at every level because of all the little stuff he's doing out there.
But, you know, Mike, we cannot say enough nice things about Kevin Brown.
Yep.
He did a great job, threw a lot of strikes. I think after the 6th or 7th inning, he was at 53 or 54 pitches. Unbelievable.
Well, the bullpen, they threatened him early and said, we need the night off, kid. You better take care of business after night.
He got it, and I see him stand back there with his lovely mother. So I better get out of here and let's talk again.
Outstanding, Coach. Thanks for joining us here on the Lowe's Post Game Show. Kevin Llewellyn is going to join us now. 5-0 Turks, and tonight was a very nice start for the club. Kevin was showing strengths from the get-go. A couple of double plays, one in the first, one in the second. And Kevin, you just wound it up on cruise control once you got those couple of deuces early.
Yeah, so what I say is when I'm pitching well, I'm not striking people out. I'm just trying to get ground balls to second base. So I was fortunate enough to get a couple of those early on, and they got me some key double plays, and after that, I was able to set in. And for me, because of how quick I work, it's all about getting in a rhythm. So once I got my rhythm, it was a nice night for me.
Well, is it frustrating to you when you want to work at that pace when the hitters are smart enough to catch on and to step out and all of that? 'Cause a lot of them, they didn't catch on to the rhythm, the good rhythm you're in, and they would stay in there.
So it used to frustrate me as I've gotten into college. The hitters have been better and they've caught on. But I just I put it out of my head. I just stand there, basically wait for them, and whenever they're ready, I go. And it works out pretty well for me. I'm just going to keep as focused as I can throughout the entire against the hitters. And it works out pretty well.
Now, we've had a couple of pitchers here through the years. Jason Martinez, Eric Tate, and Brad Mills have been to the majors several times, and he's back in the majors now. Very similar skill set to yourself. And for a lot of those guys, they had a decent summer here. Mills had a great summer, probably the best of the group. But guys that were great at missing bats, balls that out on the end or in on the fist or down the zone, all those little things that when you don't have a 93-mile-an-hour heater, you've got to do and do well. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of guys with equal skill set to you who have done extremely well. I mean, usually they are left-handers in that case. You're someone who's probably had to be crafty from the time you took them out.
Yes, absolutely. Once I got to college, I realized that I can't just throw the ball by people, especially with I'm 84 to 86 miles an hour. So I'm not going to be throwing the ball by people. When I got to Duke, I made an adjustment and started throwing exclusively two seams, which is something my pitching coach, Andrew C., suggested, and I got a lot more movement on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So I just try to make the ball kind of run away from right-handed hitters and run into left-handed hitters, and just keep the ball low and get as many ground balls as I can.
You'll drop your slot a little bit, you drop your arm slot a little bit, and I think with a two-seamer that gives you that late little fall, it looks like.
Exactly, that's kind of the goal. And with that slot, it's definitely tough on lefties because the ball kind of disappears behind their head for a little bit. So that's kind of the thinking behind that slot.
Well, your mom is here, and I didn't know your mom was here. Whenever you got a baseball mom, I put the love of my son's shirt on. How beautiful is that? Now, whenever parents are in town, I always root for the kids because this is one of those things where you're going to remember this summer and say, oh, my kid, he gave up 9 hits and shut them out here tonight. I'm going to remember that for a good long time. How cool is that?
Absolutely, the timing's great. I mean, she got to see me pitch about a week ago in the All-Star game,
Nice.
but I only threw 9 pitches in that outing. So it was really nice for her to be here and see kind of an extended outing because I mean, this is the most she's seen me pitch since high school. Just because I'm from Los Angeles and I go to Duke, so it's across the country. So just feasibility-wise, it's been tough for her to get out here.
So you and Stephen McLean are our Cali guys.
Yes, we are.
Good. Now, as far as I was trying to figure out who's the youngest Turk. I haven't looked up McLean. Either you or Stephen may be the youngest of the Turks.
I believe I am. I'm still 18, so I turned 19 August 31st. So I'm pretty sure I'm the youngest Turk.
Outstanding. Now, Duke University is something that you just don't go down there and submit your name and end up on the campus. It doesn't quite work like that. So, what are your interests beyond baseball?
I'm kind of a politics junkie, if we're being honest. Some of the off days, I try to get into D.C. from Harrison.
Are you going to fix California?
That's a very loaded question.
He turned one. He just went, why is this sheet? Because he knows what a big job that is, huh?
That's a very loaded question. California is a big job.
I know it's a rhetorical question. No answer was required, but yeah, that's definitely one there. Governor Brown needs some help, right?
Absolutely, yes.
If he can come and pitch, maybe you can go and take care of California for a little while.
I think I would make that deal with him.
Yeah, that would be history making.
I don't know if Bob would be happy with that deal, but
no, he probably wouldn't because Brown doesn't look like he throws very hard.
No,
he probably doesn't have the eligibility left either.
That's probably also true.
Now, I think that Duke University has really been a good fit for the Harrisonburg Turks because we not only get good players, you get players with a high baseball IQ, and whether it's an Andy Perez we had here last year, sometimes it's not even guys who are doing well immediately. I mean, James Yemba is a guy with a world of physical ability and talent. He hasn't harnessed it yet, and when he does, you're going to realize, okay, the gap between struggling and overwhelming dominance is very small.
Exactly. I mean, James is a guy that has a higher ceiling than probably anybody out here.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah, he puts it all together, and you're looking at like Randy Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, 6'10". The Turks have had small finesse type pitchers. We've had big power pitchers through the years, and I think that when it comes to pitching well, there's a lot of different ways to get it done. I mean, if someone's a home run hitter, is a home run hitter. There's a lot of ways to get that done, but when it comes to missing bats, you're that type of pitcher, or just blowing guys away like James is ultimately going to be able to do. Outs are outs.
Exactly. There's many ways to get it done. So.
Now, baseball-wise, are you from a baseball family?
I'm actually not. My mom was a cheerleader. She cheered in college. Go Fresno State Bulldogs.
There you go.
And my dad was a swimmer, but didn't play collegiate sports. So I just I played all sports as a kid. Played football in high school as well. But baseball was something that I was kind of my priority from the beginning.
Outstanding. Got any folks here in the LA area you can give a shout out to?
My grandparents listen to pretty much all the games that I pitch. So
Nice.
I love to give a shout out to them. Hopefully my dad and my sister are listening at home as well. But it's just been incredible I get texts after every game, so their support has been inspiring.
This is a whole lot different than LA. We've had a lot of rain here this summer, but the Shenandoah Valley is a beautiful contrast to LA, I would imagine.
I love it. Yeah, it's part of the reason I wanted to do was because I wanted to see a different part of the country. Obviously, Durham, North Carolina is very different than LA, and it's the same thing here. I kind of try to take in as much of the landscape as I can on the drives. And driving up the 81 over to the 66 to go to Washington, the mountains are just, you don't get to see that in LA. So it's the landscape is incredible.
Definitely is. And you guys have a lot of fun at the Duke basketball games?
They're one of the craziest things I've ever experienced.
Outstanding. I'm a Maryland fan, but I do grudgingly acknowledge that would be a fun atmosphere to just go and get nuts, because you're so plugged into your studies and all of that. You need that release.
Yes.
And the fact that they win 35 games every year is an awful lot of fun.
Yes, it's incredible.
So, well, the Turks have won 30 or more 3 straight summers, so you see why we get good crowds out here.
Absolutely.
So we're used to players coming in and doing well, and a 9-hit shutout here tonight.
Yeah, so the fans are great. We probably get the best fans in the Valley League. There's no doubt. I really noticed it toward the last out. I got my first walk of the game, which I wasn't too happy about that. I wanted to go the entire game without walking somebody. But the fans really got behind me, and to be able to finish out the game with their help was incredible.
Yeah, I think one of the things about our fans is that when the opposing starter does well, he gets a hand here when he leaves.
Yes.
And that's class. It's like, all right, a worthy adversary did well, gets his hand. I really like that. Win with class, lose with class. That's really what you always like to see.
Exactly. And so I kind of liken that to when we went to play at Florida State this year. Everybody told me it's going to be a tough atmosphere. There's going to be tons of people there. But it's the same thing. They win with class, they lose with class. You make a diving play in the field, they're going to cheer for you. You do well, they're going to cheer for you. And it's just a great baseball atmosphere to be around.
It is, because the game is sometimes the game should be bigger than the guys in the uniform.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a neat way to look at it. But I want to thank you for joining us, and big time shutout here in the Valley League. Nice job.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Well, with your mom here, it doesn't get any better than that. You write that script pretty well.
Yeah.
So I want to thank Kevin Llewellyn for joining us here on the Lowe's Post Game Show. And Turks will be home tomorrow. Tanner Shelton is going to go to the mound. Harrisonburg 21-12. Going to try and stretch it to 22-12 tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Kevin.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Front Royal in the win column tonight, 3-2. So the Turks won't pick up any ground on Front Royal. But playing winning baseball, especially when you don't give up any runs and only one walk, and that doesn't happen until the 9th, it was definitely a blueprint of which momentum is built.
Pitcher's game, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Did we get a time of game on that?
2:12.
2:12.
And the Front Royal game was 2 hours even.
So.
So that tells me there's some pitching going on. And that's what you expect to see by the teams at the top of the standings. So been a long one here, and mostly in the post game show. But kind of the energy of Coach Weiss and Kevin Llewellyn, I get a little wordy.
Yeah. Kevin Llewellyn even talks fast too.
Yes, he does.
He just can't sit still.
He does. He's highly caffeinated, but I kind of like that. But we had to talk about the tempo, because the tempo with him is definitely something he's trying to sneak by them if they notice or don't notice. But we'll have Front Royal in here tomorrow.
Battle for first
Once again. I think the Royals won last time. That's going to be the Cardinals won last time in our battle for first place. The Turks will try and even the ledger on that. Pre-game show is at 7:10, and the weather looks fantastic again. Tanner Shelton heads to the hill. It's going to be a good one. And I think that if you're not able to join us here on the radio, please get out here to Eagle Field and watch some Turks baseball. For my partner, Joe Kirkendall, I'm Dave Norman. Have a good night, everybody.